how are you? I know I am dark. I am driving, but I just wanted to come on real quick and share this story. I was just talking with my center child. As some of you may know, I call my daughter my center child because she's exactly 20 months younger and older than my youngest and oldest child. And so her and I were just talking. She was trying to talk me home, but then she got hungry and was like, I gotta go. So but we were talking about the vaccine and C-19 and people's thoughts, because my whole family is vaccinated, and I totally get the discomfort or the uncertainties around getting vaccinated. But I just wanted to share this story. In 1978, I was 8 years old and in the third grade. And I'm sure some of you are like, 78? That was in the 1900s. Wait a minute, I wasn't even born. But I was. And I was 8 years old, and a good friend that I went to school with had the chicken pox. And she was out for like 2 weeks. And at first, we didn't know why she was out for so long. And then someone said, oh, she has the chicken pox. So one day, 2 weeks later, I'm sitting next to her on the bus, and I'm like, I thought you had the chicken pox. And she said, I did, but I'm all better. And I looked at her face and I said, but it looks like you still have the chicken pox. And she said, no, I don't. It's not contagious. That's just the way I look. Like, that's just the way it is. And I was like, okay. I mean, just like then and now, I'm not a medical doctor or nurse, so who am I to question that, However, 3 days later, I get the chicken pox, and I'm trying to tell you, those chicken pox were horrendous. They were everywhere in my scalp. Woo, listen to that motorcycle. Wow. So they were everywhere. They were between my fingers, under my fingernails, all over my face, neck, torso, toes, everywhere. And they itched so bad. And I tried really, really hard not to scratch right on the chicken pox, because I knew people that were older that had the chicken pox, and they scratched. And because they scratched, they had these like marks on their skin. Some of you may know what that looks like. I mean, it blends in, with the coloring and everything, but it's like a little indent or whatever on your face or wherever it is that you scratched. And so I was like, oh, I don't want to have that look. So I tried really, really hard not to scratch them, but I still did, because there were so many. At some point, there was no room around them to scratch. That's how much I had. That's how many chicken pox I had. So, I just remember my mother just being so gentle and patient with me, and she would take the calamine lotion and the cotton balls and just dab on each and every single chicken pox I had to soothe them and try and dry them out and everything. And I just loved her for doing that. Like, that was just everything to me. And one night I was in my bed, and the door was closed, the lights were off, I was under the covers, and I must have been calling her name 1,000 times. And she came into my room a few times, and would turn the light on and come with the calamine lotion and ask me where did it itch most, and she would put it on there, and then she would cover me back up and say goodnight. And it may be, I don't even know how long, it could have been a minute, it could have been 10 minutes, an hour, I don't even know, but I would be calling her name, mommy, mommy, mommy. And she would come in. But I guess at some point I got on my father's last nerve. Last nerve, because all I know, I'm calling mommy, 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 thinking, she's gonna come in, boom, boom, nice and gentle. Well, he comes in. He busts open the door, flicked on the lights, pulled the covers back abruptly, and took the calamine lotion off my dresser, unscrewed the top, and poured it. He poured it all over my body, all over, from head to toe. He just poured it. He poured it, and it was starting to run onto my bed, everything. I was in shock. I just laid there like a stiff board I was in mid mommy, and I stopped and just laid there and didn't say a word and was frozen like a mummy. And I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe he was doing that. And he was like, you need this? Like, okay, here you go. And poured it and put the top back on, put it on my dresser, turned the light off, and slammed the door. He didn't even pull the covers back up on me. My bed was sticky and wet from the calamine lotion running off of my body, and it was just a mess. I was like, wait, what just happened? But what I do know is I stopped calling my mother. I can tell you that much. I don't think I've called her like that since. So, that to me was just the craziest thing. But, that's how it was. The chickenpox was no joke. However, I don't really know anybody that passed away, from having the chickenpox. And maybe you do. Did you have the chickenpox back in the day where it was really, really bad and itchy? If you did, put it down in the comments down below. And if you know anyone, and, unfortunately, that have maybe passed from the chickenpox, please put that down in the comments below as well. But, moving forward, I don't know how long after that, but they came out with the chickenpox vaccine. I didn't take it, that was before my time. And then, of course, I got it and everything. But when I started having children, it was around. And so I got that for my children. And this is what my daughter and I were talking about this evening. So when she was in kindergarten, she had a really cool class. I loved her kindergarten class. Those were some really good kids. They were like, real friends. I enjoyed that class. But right before Christmas vacation, the entire class got the chickenpox. I couldn't believe it. When we got the notice and everything, I couldn't believe it, because we had the vaccine. I thought once you got a vaccine, that means you wasn't going to get it. Like that made you immune to getting whatever the issue was. But, it didn't mean you wasn't going to get it. It just meant that you would get a lesser version of it. And so I was like, oh. So I checked my daughter, and because I'm thinking she going to break out like I did. And I was like, oh, here we go. Like, who am I going to be? My mother or my father? Am I going to be the dab, or am I going to be the pourer? Like, which one? Because I know her, and she's very much like me, and she going to call somebody all night. I know it. So I was like, please, like, I know my husband, he would probably be more patient, but he really wouldn't get all of it. So I was just, really bracing myself for that experience. So I looked at her, and she never got like it. She didn't get it anywhere near what I got it. Like, she basically had about maybe 3 to 4 clusters, and not even clusters, but pairs of chickenpox randomly throughout, around her body. Nothing major, like 2 each, 3 to 4 different places on her body. I mean, she didn't miss a beat, but I knew that she was still contagious. So my great aunts wanted to come and visit us for the holiday, and I was like, no, you can't come because, she has the chickenpox. And I don't want you to get the shingles, because I know that that's really bad for grown-ups and everything. So they stayed away. But, I'm just saying all this to say, people are out here and they're like, oh, if you get the C19 vaccine, you still can get the, the C19. And that's true. However, in what I'm seeing, and maybe I'm wrong, I mean, we got to go with the stats. If it's less than 80%, really less than 50%, I'm good. If it's less than 50%, I'm good. So if less than 50% of the people, and it's way less than that, with the vaccine, and if they get the virus, if less than 50% of those people are going into the hospital, that's beating the odds to me. And that's what I'm hearing. So if a person has the vaccine and they do get the virus, they don't get it as bad as a person who does not have the vaccine. And so I know someone, and his entire family were vaccinated, and they got the Delta variant. And they got sick with it, but not sick like, oh, oxygen sick, not ventilator sick, not hospitalized sick, but they were out and they quarantined themselves from others for, 2 weeks or whatever. And I saw him, he's had it now for like a month or so, a month and a half, 2 months ago, and he's fine. He's breathing well. He's fine for now. I don't know what the future ramifications will be, but it's definitely not like how I'm seeing people who have not been vaccinated getting the virus at this point or at this stage. So I'm not telling this story or sharing this story to convince you to, oh, now I got to go out. I'm just sharing you this story to just kind of give you a different perspective on vaccines in general. Because we forget, we act like we all new to vaccines. I know I had to get a vaccine recently because I started grad school, even though it was virtual. And it was only virtual because of C-19, but it was virtual and I was missing a vaccine. I wasn't up to date on one. And so I had to get that taken care of. And I did, because it was one that I had gotten before. But sometimes you have to get like a booster, like a part 2 or a part 3. And I had to do that, with this particular one. And I can't remember the name of it, but, it's one that most people have received, and especially, I'm 52. So anyone 52 and down, probably have received it at some point in their life. But, we're not new to this. This is not an experiment. It's not, an experiment where they're taking a small group of people in, impoverished community to give them, this dosage of something. I don't see it like that at all. And if you do, that's how you see it. And that's your choice. That's your opinion. We all definitely have one, and that is perfect. I have no problems with that. And trust and believe, I'm all about Eastern medicine. I'm all about naturally, healing yourself. But even with that, you have to do it right, which is why I tend to go to my doctor, Dr. Renee Gilmore, giving her a shout out, who's a chiropractor and also performs Eastern medicine and has done wonders for me regarding other issues that I have or have had, I should say. Physically, because even with Eastern medicine, it's important to get what your body needs. My husband, especially at the beginning of the virus, he would have all these vitamins for everyone to take. And it turned out like half those vitamins, I'm talking about turmeric and all of that, was horrible for my youngest daughter. It was making her break out in a way that was on a ridiculous side. It was tremendous. And it turned out that she had a severe, she's allergic to it, basically. That, and along with some other vitamins that you would think are so amazing to take, to help ward off things. So even if you take natural vitamins, I would highly recommend that you make sure that they are supportive to your system, to your body. So just like anything else, as you do your research and everything, make sure you do your research on the natural remedies as well. So I am not a medical professional. Once again, I just wanted to come here and share that story on the chicken pox. And if you've had the chicken pox, if you've had shingles, if you've had a breakthrough chicken pox after having the vaccine, please leave a comment down below. I appreciate you for rocking with me and tuning in and staying to the end. Be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and share this if you like with a friend, family member, or just someone that you are talking to as you're waiting in line. All right, until next time, I look forward to speaking to you soon. I want you to stay safe and take great care of yourself. All right, bye everyone.